mentioned about this before. Could you tell us about what INEA is today and what is this concept of co-ownership? What does it mean?
Yes, thank you for having me. First of all, dobar den. I had an amazing time this whole morning, and I rethought a lot of the things that I wanted to say today, listening to the presentations, specifically the last one. So INEA is 37 years old, and it was actually formed as a company with employee ownership. And in the whole 37 years, we came back to that idea again. And a year or 2 years ago, we again became 100% employee owned. Originally, we are an engineering company. We do energy automation and manufacturing intelligence solutions for our partners around the world, for our customers around the world. But in terms of the ownership, it was something that we gave it a lot of thought. We thought about it for well, the more the founders of the company were reaching towards their retirement age, the more we had to think about it. So we got to know an institute in Slovenia that specializes with some sort of a cooperative ownership, and they help us get to this stage where we are right now.
And what triggered this?
Well,
to co-ownership.
We came to know it as a silver tsunami. So it's a time of a company when the original idea and the original energy that formed the company is reaching to the end of their professional life cycle. And if you don't make sure that those ideas thrive through and I'll use Charlie's words here, regenerative aspects of the business, then you get to this standstill. And we came to a position where the ideas and the challenges that the physical owners were facing were beginning to differ quite a bit from the employee, from people that were actually employed in the company. And it was more and more obvious in that a couple of years ago, as I said, because the majority of the owners were retiring or were already retired. And we saw that, the company wanted to grow, the company wanted to invest in things, in projects that had a longer return of investment, and the physical owners didn't necessarily agree with 20 years ROI projects. And we came into a position where we were already discussing the sellout, the buyout. We had a potential buyer that wanted to buy the company. But then the employees formed an alliance, and we decided to basically buy the company out ourselves, but with this new or a little bit of a different scheme that's called an ESOP model, where you actually don't have to invest any money if you're an employee, but rather than that, you invest your time, your enthusiasm, your labor, your knowledge, and with the profits that you form, you actually buy the company out in the years to come.
How many of you are at this point?
Sorry?
How many of you are co-owners?
Oh, yeah, okay. That's a good question. At the moment, there's 130 employees, so 130. Everybody that's been in the company for over 1 year is eligible to become the employee owner. And all of the people that are eligible are actually owners at the moment, and the number is 94.
Mm-hmm. Probably some of the leaders and the participants here would be interested in the steps that you took to this transformation into co-ownership.
Yes, there's a lot of different aspects to the steps. There were legal, financial, social, cultural, organizational. But at the beginning of every journey like that, like we heard before from the other speakers, you do have to just admit that you don't know everything, and you need to find people and coaches that guide you through the process, that have maybe done this before. Although it is quite challenging in this Adriatic region, the ESOP concepts are still evolving. They're not really fully formed. They're not legally supported. And as a matter of fact, we in Slovenia, we're just trying to assist with passing a new cooperative law. I think Macedonia also have Zakon o zadrugah, like Slovenia had, that's originated in 91, and that's what our company based its transformation on. So as you will probably understand, forming something like that on a law that was passed 36 years ago is probably not the smoothest of the transitions that you can possibly take. So yeah, the challenges were quite substantial, but the rewards and the satisfaction that came at the end is also quite rewarding. You do have to consider if you take on something like that in Macedonia, that it's a novelty approach, that not necessarily the legislation, the governmental entities, the tax entities, the auditors are ready for it. So you need a lot of discussions, a lot of events like this one to talk about it, to promote that idea, and to also get the society to understand that that is a way to the future, because that's how you create something that's capitalistic, and that maybe was originally formed to only make money, but is now quite crucial to keep the people interested and engaged, to keep the people in the country, which was the topic that you raised at the very beginning of this session, to create something that's not just sustainable, like Charlie said, but also regenerative. And it does mimic the natural system design, because it evolves, it's fluid. Everybody that is new and is Gen Z and is coming into the company and is becoming employed also becomes an owner, and he has a vote, and his vote carries the same weight as mine, and I've been in a company for 20 years. So it's really crucial to support and create an environment that carries itself into the future. I'm copying a lot of what was said before, because it was really impressive and impressionate. So I think it's a really good fit to today's conference.
Did you notice or identify results related to employees retention, or related to profitability and motivation of your co-owners? Is there a difference between before the transition and after the transition?
Well, our company from the very beginning, because we had that sort of employee ownership in our DNA, had a really high retention of the employees. So we, I think, with 130 employees in the country of 37 years, our last employee ID is about 270. So if you do the math really quickly, you're gonna understand that every other person that comes into INEA stays here for all eternity. So it's quite a we're not losing people at all. But during this transition phase, when we were facing a new owner that's a really capitalistic name that we all knew quite well from the media and so on, and going through that transition and succeeding did make quite a big impact on our collective power. But it is something that's not implicitly promoted to all years to come. It is a work culture and a business owner culture that you have to cultivate, you have to promote, and you have to work on it. It is not implicit. It doesn't just, come naturally. We saw a lot of changes in the way that employees perceive good employees and bad employees, or the way that they perceive good investments versus in their idea maybe bad investments, in the way that they perceive maybe more risky projects and so on. So there's a lot of changes that are seen and that are happening, also associated with so-called open book management, discussions in regards to the data that the employees have the right to track, because they're owners, and obviously from the owner standpoint and from the employee standpoint, you're facing two different chairs that you sit on every day, right? You have to distinguish, but also join the two new roles that you are sitting in. So as I said, it is a process. It's not a project. It's a process that you have to support, and I think we're doing a really good job at it. But there's always a little bit room for improvement.
Thanks, Sasha, and congrats. When I hear about these practices and all of this, it seems super easy, but it's probably not. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.